Many banks and other companies are developing their quantum computer systems, deploying AI models, and using blockchain to make transactions more secure. According to quantum computing-focused research published by the IBM Institute for Business Values, the technology remains a few years away from having a huge impact on the financial services industry. The authors noted that research on the potential impacts of quantum computers is already underway as financial institutions battle for tiny competitive advantages using the best technologies available. You might be wondering, can you invest in the quantum financial system itself? Well, not directly, but keep an eye on ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrencies like Xrp and Stellar. They might have a role to play in the QFS ecosystem.
It says majority of cross-border industries migrated to ISO, right, by Q3 2023. Now, think about this. I always talk about, the end of 2025. Feels as though it's going to be a massive thing. But this whole thing about 2023 always gets mentioned. And some people feel as like this is the start of blast off. Well, I don't know, right? Draw your own conclusion. Let's pull this up. So for one, we're going to pull this up and make it a little bit more bigger because it's on the topic of interoperability. Obviously, with quant, we always talk about interoperability. And I'll come out with a frame on this one, all right? Because I want you to be able to see it nice and big from your TV or your phone or whatever the heck you're using. So on this one, it says that, there's this whole thing of differing ISO 222 usage guidelines, format specifications. This is some of the things that we've kind of briefly talked about. Let's face it. I mean, we talked about this probably for a good year and a half, message truncating and getting garbled up from point A to point B. So format specifications for cross-border versus market infrastructure payments would further increase complexity and operational risk. With the completion, because this is what's highlighted, of the migration to ISO 222 in the major currencies, we expect the majority of the cross-border industry to have migrated to the new format by Q3 2023. Now, I understand some people are going to say, well, Max, this is where it's all going to happen. Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Also understand where I'm coming from. And on this part, I will come back into the frame. So where I'm coming from on this is basically, again, utility in motion. Just because we get things that may seem like almost all fully migrated, it doesn't mean that there's a mandate to use that utility. For me personally, it's the end of 2025. That's the bullish of the bullishness. Like the crazy, not just parabolic times, but like, my God, like, watch out for all this stuff tied into this, right? This is why we don't just hold one and one only, right? We're diversified into all this stuff. So again, migrated over by the end of 2023 is one thing. Mandate is another thing. I'm more of a mandate type of guy because it tells me, all right, you have the tech, you already migrated over. Now, like the saying goes, flip of the switch. You have to flip that switch. Then there's utility in motion. Am I too far off on this? Or are you more of one of the guys that's like, no, migrating, you're still going to have some banks and so on. They'll use it. And I get that. And that's good. And you might see that reflective in the market. But, even if you do see it reflective in the market with your Stellars, your XLMs, and so on, okay, you might see some gains, a little bit of some gains, right? Who knows? Maybe it's 30%, 40%. Maybe, instead of XRP sitting at 50 cents, it's over $1. And that's going to be a big deal, especially with, let's face it, at the end of this month, maybe we get a full Ripple victory instead of 2/3 victory, a full victory, right? Combine that with what's going to happen in November. Okay, some big things, right? $1 for some people, they're going to take profits and so on. For me personally, no, I'm not going to do this. Again, XRP is just a long-term hold for me. For me, do what's best for you. You know what I mean? Again, none of it's financial advice, but I am looking at it from that perspective. Like, what is the big, massive things? I think it's just that mandates. I want to start seeing talk of mandates. All right. And then, of course, we're always going to bring you guys this news. But anyway, a little bit more in regards to this. We have another thing that we're going to bring up from ISO GOAT 222. Or not ISO GOAT, ISO 222. Let's do it. There's another guy named ISO GOAT, as you guys know. It's a little confusing sometimes, but that's okay. So there's this. And let's go ahead and show the file. All right, let's come out of the frame. So this one, it states structured customer data roadmap. What's this all about? Well, back to what we were talking about, right? You have this whole thing of the structured Swift ISO 222 time frame, and that's definitely worth pointing out. So, like that, thing with Swift, it says Swift many-to-many correspondent banking, structured ISO 222, importance of interoperability. All that's definitely worth pointing out. But again, what's highlighted is November 2023, expected completion. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of introduction of going live is one thing. We saw that March 2023, right? March 20th, 2023. Even with FedNow, for instance, right? The thing is live, but not everybody's using it. Okay. When did we get to the point where we see everybody starting to use this? All right, a little bit more about this. Here we go. Let's pull this one up as well. This is the last part from ISO 222. Let's do it. Let's do it. Pull this up. This one's a lot bigger, so I still come out of the frame. Put some emphasis on this. Let's talk about this for a brief moment. So as you see here, the benefits. Well, we know the benefits, right? ISO 222, the introduction of structured address information for debtor and creditor and payment messages. This is where you get that expression of, even here in the United States, will XRP, for instance, take on, can you imagine them taking on the debt of the United States? If you're new to all this, you think that's crazy talk, but it's not. This is where ODL really shines. But we're not necessarily talking about ODL. We're talking about ISO 222. November 2023, strong recommendation to use structured address also for payments initiated in FIN. Bottom part says, we strongly recommend you to use structured address, as in referring probably to the banks, information and payment messages in real-time gross settlements as of T2 go live in November 2022. Strongly recommended, and actually doing a mandate. You get what I'm saying? This dates back to the whole thing of that delay. As we know, November 2022, everybody was so excited, and there was that delay. Then it got delayed. Does everybody use this now? No, not everybody uses it now. This is not me creating FUD. This is just me just letting you guys know that is not utility in motion, right? Strong recommendation is still not utility in motion. Maybe people don't want me to talk about this. That's just the way I look at it. So again, it's not like this is not going to happen. It's going to happen. But let's look forward to mandates, okay? That's what I want you guys to take away from this as well.